Blood inquiries, Lords.
First question is from Gaurav. If 17 wickets fall on the Ahmedabad pitch, it's a bad pitch. But if 17 wickets fall on the Lord's pitch, it's just poor batting. Why this discrimination? And please take my question. Don't ignore it. Andrew Miller.
Well, Gaurav, we are not ignoring your question. We take your questioning very, very seriously at Cricinfo. We also take the atmospheric conditions very, very seriously at Lords. And as you can see, today, not very many wickets fell because the ball did not swing the pitch. Now, there's a long and important history, if I want to bore you briefly about the history of Lords. About 15 years ago, they dug Lords up, dug up the entire outfield, laid the most enormous great pile of drainage underneath that basically sucks every
Bit of
ounce
life.
of moisture out of this pitch. And so there is literally no moisture in that pitch. Any moisture that goes in that pitch gets sucked straight down again. So that pitch doesn't really do very much.
Why didn't they fix the slope when they were doing that?
It's a feature. It's a slope.
It's a quirk. It's a quirk of Lords. Ronald D. Sampson, I've got to love that name. You must have novels published, Ronald. Not the first time a guy named Mitchell is hurting England, is it? Hey, guy named Mitchell.
I mean, it's not the first time. Yeah. Poor old England just get mugged by Mitchell Stark, or is it Daryl Mitchell in the World T20, or any old Mitchell. On that, I mean, what is it about Mitchells in cricket? It's a bit like Grahams in the 1980s and 1990s. If you ever knew a cricketer, if you ever knew a human being in the 1980s and 90s called Graham, chances are they're a cricketer. Now, if you know a Mitchell, chances are they're a cricketer. It's something important.
All I know about Mitchell's is that it's a great jam maker in Pakistan.
I prefer Tiptree, but you know, that's their own.
Jaddu, sorry, not Jaddu, Jaddu. Who do you think is better for the job? Jos Buttler or Ben Foakes?
Gosh, I mean, he's half a test into his first chance to have a go in the home summer, and already he's under the cosh, which, you know, what can you do? Poor Foakesy. He had a rough trot in the Caribbean, to be fair.
Yeah.
He deserves a go. He's a very, very good keeper. He just hasn't had much luck lately.
This isn't a polite inquiry, this is a philosophical inquiry. Like, what do you want? Do you want Adam Gilchrist in your team, or do you want, I don't know, Rashid Latif, pure keeper? Do you want Chris Reed? Was he the best? No, James Foster was the best keeper for the longest time in English cricket. I think Foakes has been pretty good behind stumps. He's held on to a couple of good catches, not much with the bat, but then no one's really scored many runs.
And I'll tell you what, if England start picking leg spinners like Matt Parkinson and he gets a pitch that actually turns a bit, then we'll see the value of having a proper keeper. There may yet be a place for Jos Buttler. I mean, I don't think Baz McCullum will want to keep him out of his side for long, but whether that's as a wicket-keeper, who knows?
Who knows indeed. Colin Collis asks, why is it that the bowling rates continue to be absolutely disgraceful? 12 overs short on day one and still 1 over short on day two, despite extra time being added on to both days. Just 1 second, Andrew, while I put on the soapbox here, onto which you can stand. Off you go.
Were you not entertained? Were you not entertained? I think there ought to be some sort of rule that says 5 wickets, say a 5-wicket day is a standard day, okay? So if you start losing overs after 5 wickets...
Especially if it's like the second day.
Yeah, second day. But if you lose 17 wickets on the first day, and you end up at 78 overs, I think it was, 12 overs short, given the innings changeover. I mean, are you not entertained? Are you not going to accept that 12 bonus wickets in a day is not a fair exchange for 12 overs lost? I think that's a fair exchange.
And New Zealand weren't bowling any spinners. And they haven't bowled any spinners. And I think spinners make a difference with over rates. But look, I go back to what Andrew's saying. Like, if you're entertained, then, you know, and if you're paying that much money to come into Lords anyway, then, I mean, you know, are you really going to quibble about over rates that much? How much value are you going to put on 1 over?
Well,
on a £160 ticket, how much value are you putting on 1 over?
England couldn't get off the pitch quickly enough, that's for sure.
Sir Ron asks, did England pick the right spinner in Matt Parkinson when they could have picked up Moeen Ali to strengthen the batting?
Steady on. Moeen has just been given an OBE. He's just given some very, very speculative quotes saying that, yeah, if Baz gives me a call, yeah, the door's open, la-di-da. I mean, the door's probably not so open that on Jubilee Bank Holiday weekend, while he's having a barbecue, Moeen Ali's going to say, you know what, yeah, tomorrow I really want to play Test cricket again. I think he needs a little bit more time to think about it.
And also, very pedantically, like if you lose Jack Leach, then you've got to pick a spinner who can't bat. And I think England have done that pretty well, right? You can't just bring Moeen Ali in, who's a batter who can spin the ball, or maybe a spinner who can also bat. But you can't you need to have a like-for-like thing. And anyone who thinks that Jack Leach or Moeen Ali is a like-for-like replacement for Jack Leach, well, there's a Specsavers ad joke there somewhere about the glasses that you're wearing or something.
Although Parky's straight drive was
shot of the day, shot of the test match so far. Jiten, poor shot from Williamson, or is that just one of Williamson's shots? I'd like to take this one. I don't have much to say other than the fact that it's a shot that Williamson does play. He's a batter who's been out of runs recently, and he probably felt the need to just get bat on ball as often as possible. Kind of like Joe Root in that first innings. You know, Joe Root plays that shot a lot. He gets out sometimes, but Joe Root scored a heck of a lot of runs, and Kane Williamson scored a heck of a lot of runs in his life and his career to be asked this kind of question. So don't ask this question. It wasn't a poor shot. It was just a Williamson shot from Kane Williamson.
We're under siege from the lawnmower man here. It feels like I'm about to be sucked into the telephone.
So we're moving on nicely to the final question, which is from the Shepherd. And this one's all for you. I'm queuing it up, Andrew, and off you go. So Stokes being the enforcer isn't, it turns out, actually Joe Root's fault at all. Or is it?
I mean, it's terrifying, isn't it? I mean, the moment that Ben Stokes takes the ball and starts setting a deep square leg, deep fine leg, a deep backward square, short leg, short mid-wicket, mid-on. I mean, oh my God, Stokes, stop it.
It's like Harold Larwood or something is back in play.
Look, he wrecked his side in the Ashes when he was obeying orders, and now in his first Test match, there he is going out to wreck his side again by being the enforcer. I mean, the one thing I will say is, of all the teams to try and take on with some bloke who's going to stick it up your jumper halfway down the pitch, don't forget these guys spend their lives netting.
Yes, this is the payoff line here. Please say his name.
I've forgotten his name.
Who did New Zealand net against the most? Only
Neil
the
Wagner.
most brutal enforcer in the history of this game, Neil goddamn Wagner. And on that note, folks, we're done.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.